Good evening. It is the 9th day of the Vlogmas campaign, in which it's been hit or miss, depending on my mood. Today's topic is somewhat Gerard Way, because truth is, I was never really that into the punk movement back in the day. When it came out, My Chemical Romance and Fall Out Boy, which have become in some respects a sound of a time that I appreciate way after the fact of them being on the scene. But I've never been quite about the scene. I like observing it, but to participate in it is something completely different. Because to be able to conjure up that much fervor and fanship, it gets complicated. And a lot of the energy is self-created, or self-sustaining. Because people are so excited about the thing, that the truth of the thing below the thing becomes somewhat muddled in the confusion, and the people's passion burns off into something completely different. But I do appreciate My Chemical Romance for what they were able to do. Welcome to the Black Parade was one of my favorite albums, once I finally sat down and listened to it. It encapsulates a certain feeling of teenage rage, of angst, of sorrow, of burning desire to make out something that will last. The energy to pour out what you have while you have it. And then there are other cuts on the tracks in My Chemical Romance is Welcome to the Black Parade, such as Teenagers, where it almost seems to turn around and spit at the very crowd at which it seems to have pandered to. But it doesn't pander. It doesn't pander at all. No, but just finished reading True Lives of the Fabulous Killjoys by Gerard Way, Shaun Simon, and Becky Cloonan. It's a book that I picked up about 3 months ago. I was initially excited when it came out, after My Chemical Romance's Danger Days, in which they introduced 2 videos that featured these Killjoys, or these characters. And at the end of this book, there are 2 essays that go into the creation of the Killjoys, and how Gerard Way and his friend decided that they should be a thing that exists, and built around this world and made into something. I was excited about this, not because I was a My Chemical Romance fan, as I've explained, but because I picked up his other 2 books, Umbrella Academy Volumes 1 and 2, and The Apocalypse Suite and Dallas. Those are wondrously clever books. From the first pages, they pull you in, and he toys with you as a writer, and his whimsical take on things. It's very creative and very out there and interesting and engaging. I loved Umbrella Academy. So, while I was disappointed that his band was no longer producing stuff, because I love artists being able to create, I was overjoyed at the idea of another comic. I bought the first issue when it came out, but then I fell away from going to comic shops for a while, and only recently picked that up. And each time I would look at it and think, oh, this isn't Umbrella Academy Volume 3, but I wish it. And although I wish it was, I have to be in the mood to read it. I wonder if I needed to be more of a fan of Danger Days to understand it. And it turns out, those people will appreciate it for what it is. But I was able to appreciate it for what it was. And I'm very happy with how it actually turned out in 6 issues. It's full, it's colorful, and it tells a story. Coldplay tried to write Milo Gelato, and this was a more practiced telling of the story. Because Gerard Way loves comics. He loved this medium. He wanted to become an artist. I listened to his Nerdist interview, and that was interesting as well. If you haven't listened to it, Gerard Way's interview with Chris Hardwick on the Nerdist podcast is absolutely amazing. I really appreciate listening to him talk and explain how he is where he got to be. This is run rather long. But anyway, this was an enjoyable read, and that's somewhat of a story in history. Bye.